Hey, John here. I'm about 50 miles east of Flagstaff, Arizona. Still on the road to the RTR. It's sort of like the road to the RTR is sort of like the road to the Dark Tower. You've read that series, where it's like it seemed like the land, it took them forever to get there, and it just the land actually started to expand, you know, and because of the world had moved on, and I don't know, anyway, something to do with like the space and time was being kind of changed in that land, and then he was trying to find the Dark Tower because it was supposed to be kind of like at the nexus of like the different beams that hold the different worlds together. And then so anyway, so it's sort of like but he said there was something happening where he says there's this desert that he, you know, at one point in his life it took him like 2 weeks to go across, or the maps indicated it should take like 2 weeks, but then he had been trying to reach across that desert for 20 years. But anyway, nice desert scenery here. It'd be nicer if you didn't have like the cars in the way ruining the scenery, right? I guess that's the problem. People do kind of ruin the scenery, huh? And trucks make driving a lot less fun, you know. If there's a lot less trucks, it'd be a lot more fun to drive the road, because they're always like, one thing I hate is they're always speeding up and slowing down, so you get behind them, and then all of a sudden like they go real slow going up a hill, then you got to pass them, and then they go like 90 miles an hour going down the hill, and then they pass you, and then you got to pass them again. I just like to keep it easy to stay in the same lane. Sometimes I'll go a little slower than the speed limit just to kind of have everybody else pass me, so I don't have to keep changing lanes. But it's tough because you're gonna always run into that person who wants to drive like 45 miles an hour on the road. So anyway, what is it? It's like 1:23 Mountain Time, which I don't know. Actually, I'm not for sure. I guess Arizona this time of the year is actually in Mountain Time, right? Or they're not the Pacific time. Anyway, there's something confusing about Arizona, but you got to figure that like. But I'm going to be heading quite a bit further south, and then also the RTR is, you know, further west. It's almost at the edge of the time zone. So I was just trying to figure out if I still had a lot of daylight left where I could get to the. No, I'm probably not going to make it to the RTR before daylight. So I don't know. I guess I may end up just camping someplace a little outside of town, and then just make the grand arrival on Monday. You know, so we'll see. Just kind of like this nice land. There's a good view over to the left if possible to see it through this window. I guess. Anyway, some nice mountains over there. Okay, there's some nice mountains over here. I think these ones. Okay, I think these ones are like volcanoes. I think the ones that are. I think there is a lot of volcanoes in this part of Arizona. See how some they're kind of like somewhat cone shaped. So. Volcanoes are kind of interesting because a lot of times they just ride, you know, up out of the landscape. There's not like a lot of the land around it that just rises. So that's why like Mount Rainier is a volcano. So because of that, it rises quite dramatically from the surrounding landscape. Where you could have like Pikes Peak. I mean, yeah, you know, or something like. Well, I don't know. There could be a lot of other mountains. Like let's just say if you're at some peak that's like, you know, 14,000, but then it's like, you know, the surrounding land's like 10,000. You know, it's not as big of a change, you know, it's not as impressive, you know, but if you have something that just basically just rises straight up, you know. Anyway, yeah, maybe I'll go to Seattle like later on. Maybe I think it'd be kind of, I don't know, if I want to stay out on the road a lot of time, maybe I'll like go up the whole West Coast after the RTR and then go back to Duluth. That'd be fun, you know. That furnace I have is keeping this place really warm, but it's kind of running kind of intermittently. I don't know, it might have something to do with the thermostat. It looks like I might be able to run it okay by just using this one switch just to turn it on and off, which usually what that'll happen is I can get it, you know, real warm before I go to bed, and then just like if I wake up in the middle of the night and it's cold, I can just flip that switch real quick, and then that's not too bad. But this thing is so insulated, and it's such a small space that it, you know, that even when it was like 20, it was 20 degrees and I was in here, it was still like that furnace was not coming on very often, you know. I made it a lot better by now having the heat blow like underneath that bed, underneath that futon, instead of blowing from the top vent. So because it gets kind of trapped under the heat, and then it kind of slowly releases it. So that's what happens. So that's why if you have something like that where stuff that absorbs the heat and then slowly releases it, then you're gonna have like a more steady heat, and then you're gonna have like where the furnace doesn't have to keep coming on. But if there's like no, you know, nothing of any mass and stuff, you know, so that's usually why like a van, like, you know, you're gonna heat it and then it's gonna get cold real quick because there's not a lot of like material to warm up like in a house. And there's also like a big surface area, bigger surface area per volume, you know. Anyway, that's some cool looking mountains there, huh? That's cool. I went to, I stopped off at the Petrified Forest just for the heck of it, because I stopped by the Petrified Forest just for the heck of it because it was right off of Highway 40, and I just wanted to see if the gate was open, if I could just, maybe it would be open, you could just drive through for free, because I heard that was some of the national parks, you could still drive through, but there was just nobody there so to collect the money, but no, the gates were shut, so anyway. I guess otherwise you'd probably have like people like going in there with trucks, like picking up that petrified wood or something, right? You know, I mean, seriously. I mean, they even like will check your car when you're leaving sometimes to see if you have, make sure people aren't stealing like the minerals and the petrified wood and stuff. So, but they did say like there was people like actually at Joshua Tree that were like cutting down the Joshua trees and stuff. It's like, that's pretty screwed up, huh? Anyway, you can see that mountain there. You get over, switch lanes, get a little further over to the left because of this truck that appears to be changing a wheel or something. Anyway, okay, you had a service vehicle with it, that's good. Oh, that's really a cool view. Yeah, these mountains, like, look at that. I know there's like, yeah, okay, there's like some good mountains that are right like outside of Flagstaff, and I haven't really spent that much time in Flagstaff. I mean, it's mostly driving through a while ago, but, and I guess that'll be the same on this trip too, because yeah, because I mean, this is already like the 5th day, you know, that I've been driving to the RTR, so I need to kind of get there, you know. But I mean, I don't need to get there, but if I'm going to get there, I mean, I might as well get there like long enough to actually see something, do something, you know. Yeah, I mean, so I've been taking this time, and I mean, this road, this 24-hour trip, I still feel like I've been kind of rushed and driving more than I want. I mean, sometimes I'd like to do the thing of just like, you know, drive like 2 hours a day, you know, I mean, and then stay someplace for like a few days, and, you know, just like, yeah, I'm not really enjoying this like marathon, like 8-10 hour driving much anymore, you know. That's a cool cloud there, or mountain there. Low-hanging clouds there. Okay, see what I mean about the guy who's going like 45, like this guy. Anyway, so that's about it. I guess I might try to go into the RTR late this evening. I don't know, you know, around 5 or 6 or something. I don't know. I might try to actually get into it, or I may just like camp someplace like, you know, a little ways away, like a Walmart near Phoenix or something. I mean, I've already stayed at more Walmarts than I want to on this trip, but I mean, but the problem is that when you're passing by through, it's really, you know, you're gonna have a much harder time just finding some kind of like, you know, actual nice like woods camping or something. You know, it's always, you know, so Walmart's just easy. I mean, yeah, it's just the easiest. It's not the best, but it's the easiest, you know. And if you're going someplace you don't know, that's your best chance to like, you know, go there and know that you can probably find a place where you won't get harassed, you know, provided you kind of research it first, you know. So anyway, ooh, that's really cool. Ooh, look at that mountain there. That's really neat looking. Yeah, some nice scenery here. I wonder what that is. Like, is that a school or something, or casino? Like that big building there in the middle of nowhere. Anyway, yeah, some nice mountains here near Flagstaff. Aren't they called like the Flagstaff Mountains or something like that? I thought. Anyway. So yeah, so we're gonna be coming like in Flagstaff, so we'll be real close to the Grand Canyon, but we won't actually be going there. But That's if it's even open. Going down the highway. Who knows where these highways lead? Some of the highways are obvious, but some of the highways are hidden, and some of the highways are in you and me. I might put that, maybe I'll have that be like an intro for the thing. That little goofy poem I just made up there, like